Hey there, it's BoardGameDave. Today we're taking a look at some of my favorite solo games that I played this summer. Between May 28th and August 28th this year, I sat down to play a solo game 40 times and I played 13 different games solo. These are just 7 of my favorites from that list, starting with Azul Stained Glass of Sintra. This might be my favorite Azul of the 4 in the series, and I slightly tweaked the solo variant by Ricky Royal at boxofdelights.net for the original Azul onto this version, and it works splendidly. Your turns are the same as usual, and then the AI's turn, it just takes a couple tiles and you just keep working on it and trying to get the best score you can. It's so simple, it's lovely, it's so satisfying. This game, just in general, the combos that you can make and the way you can score all these points at the bottom of your stained glass window, it's brilliant. I love this game, and solo it plays absolutely wonderfully. Definitely worth checking out. Should I hold you like a baby? There you go. That's nice. There you go. Okay, we can't cuddle all day then. What's next? Next is Seven Wonders Duel. Now, everybody knows that this is a fantastic tableau and city building game where you draft cards to add them to your city over a course of 3 ages. You can win with military victory and a scientific victory, or just points at the end of the game. But, of course, the publishers came out with an official solo variant for this game. It is absolutely amazing. I think there's 6 maybe, like, great historical figures that you can play against, and they are extremely hard to beat because they have their own preferences and they always kind of choose the military and the science cards and then one other type of their specialty or whatever. It's really fun. Again, the AI plays really quick. There's a deck that you go through. It's a real simple print and play, and it's amazing. I've played it so many times solo. It's quick, it's fun. I love Seven Wonders Duel solo. Next is Tiny Towns. Now, I've talked about Tiny Towns a lot on this channel already. Of course, Hannah and I love this little game where you take cubes and add them to your little 4x4 grid and turn them into buildings like houses and taverns and chapels and things like that. The solo game is super simple. You flip a card over and look at 3 different options. You choose one of those options, add a cube to your grid, put that card in the bottom of the deck, and flip another card. That's all there is to it. And again, you're trying to see what kind of score you can get. It's so simple, it's so fast. You can play a game easily in 15 minutes, and you can try different strategies and explore different buildings that are in this deck. It's wonderful, really fantastic. Tiny Towns is a great game at any player count, but solo, it's fantastic as well. And last of the lighter games is Project L. This is a game that was new to me this summer, and I really enjoyed playing it with other people, but I also really enjoyed the solo experience. So in the solo game, your turns play, again, pretty much the same as usual, except you're also working against the AI, because you are going to compare scores at the end of the game. On the AI's turn, by default, it's going to take just one puzzle from the tableau and score it as usual. So you're trying to prevent that from happening by this whole really cool locking system. So each column has these cubes at the top that are kind of locking those tiles from being removed and scored by the AI. So you can sort of manipulate this, but also the AI is really aggressive and it removes those little locking pieces and takes tiles really quickly. So its score just ramps up and ramps up, and your goal is to try to beat the AI, of course. There's various difficulties you can try, but it's a great solo challenge. I really enjoy Project L solo. If you like this game at all, you should definitely try the solo mode. I highly recommend it. And now let's move on to some heavier games, starting with Crown of Amara. Now, this is more of a medium weight game, but it is a Euro game with action selection and 2 rondels and some resource management. It's fantastic. So, you're using in this game the 1 rondel to collect resources, and then using those resources on the other board, on the other rondel, to turn them into signet rings and coins and books of wisdom, and eventually into points, which is, of course, the whole crux of the game. In the solo game, you're playing against this AI, which is really easy to manage because it only kicks in at the end of each round. So you have your cards, you play 3 turns, and then the AI kicks in. And then next round, you play 3 turns, the AI kicks in. It's really simple, and the AI just scores some points, moves some of the resource dials around a little bit, so it changes the point criteria, and then increases its nobility for more points. So you're racing against the AI to get these benefits, to get these nobility cards. It's great. It's really simple to manage. And it's a great game. I've only even played it solo actually so far, and have been really enjoying it, but I am playing it tomorrow multiplayer with some friends, so looking forward to that. But Crown of Mara, underrated game, definitely worth checking out if you can. Designed by Benjamin Schwer, who also designed Hadara and Livingston and a few other games, but I really have been enjoying this one. Really interesting mechanisms for sure. Next is Brass Birmingham. This is an absolutely phenomenal, incredible, brilliant game designed by the genius, of course, Martin Wallace. It is certainly heavier than the other games we've talked about today, but it's worth learning. It's worth the effort. In this game, you are developing these rail systems and canal systems all over England, transporting coal, transporting iron, transporting beer, and establishing all of this infrastructure, these networks and trade. And it is a lot going on for sure. It's a lot of rules overhead, but it's worth learning. Again, like I said, although the solo variant I use by Multoma is a lot. There's a corresponding app, of course, which is very helpful, but even still, learning the iconography and the kind of the game flow is a lot, and it's easy to make some mistakes. However, I still really enjoy playing this game solo. I did a solo playthrough on this channel as well. It's just brilliant, and you know, it's hard to get people around the table to play brass. It's a heavy game, it's a long game, so if solo works for you, this is a great game to try solo. Absolutely check out Brass Birmingham solo. Of course, links are all down in the description. And finally, my favorite solo game of the summer was Concordia, absolutely, with the Concordia Solitaria expansion. This is a brilliantly, elegantly designed game. If you know anything about Concordia, you know that this is a masterwork in elegant, streamlined design by Matt Gertz. So, of course, in Concordia, you have these cards that let you do actions. We call that action selection, just like Crown of Amara. And the cards might let you put new colonists on the board, or move your colonists around Roma, or drop trading posts where you have colonists, or produce goods in the regions where you have colonists or trading posts, or do some trading at the market, right? So each card has its own action. Really simple, right? And you're collecting resources and trading them into coins and getting points through all sorts of different scoring criteria. But in the solo game, or at least in this box, you get a whole new deck of cards to replace the ones from the base game, and this is how it works. It's so genius. I love this. You have a card, right? And now instead of just what you're gonna do, it also has the AI's action, right? It says what the opponent's gonna do. So when you play a card, you're already seeing what it's gonna do. But the brilliant part is, as much as you can kind of predict what the AI is going to do, it also has some dice. So there's an element of, yeah, I know that the AI is going to take a card, but which card is it going to take? Or I know it's going to put a trading post down, but where is it going to go? Which resource is it looking for? It's so lovely. I mean, look at the components in this box. It's, you know, a big stack of cards and 4 dice, but there's like endless potential in this box with the co-op mode and the dummy third player and the solo game. But anyway, this was a blast and such a treat to play solo. It's I think one of the best parts about playing this game solo is that you can see what the AI is going to do, and you are in total control of it, right? Like, if I don't want the AI to take a card, I don't have to play that card, but I need to play that card because it's the architect card. And it's just so brilliant. I love this design by Matt Gertz. And there you have it, 7 of my favorite solo games that I played this summer. And by the way, I do have solo playthroughs on this channel of every single game that I talked about today, except for Project Owl for now. So if you want to check those out, I'll leave links down in the description below. And while you're down there, don't forget to leave me a comment letting me know what your favorite solo game has been lately. I would love to know what you've been playing solo. So tell me in the comments down below. And in the meantime, of course, have a wonderful week, take care, and happy gaming. Bye! All day, I dream about solo gaming. I do! Lovely, let's get to business, get down to business, to defeat Stella, the Huns. This is more of a medium weight game, but it's upside down. The solo game is equally elegant and brilliant and so cleverly designed, and seeing how low that can be and still you can end up, that doesn't make any sense.